Hello, I will be desoldering a CPU. I know this is not the right way to do it, and the motherboard has already been fried from overheating. So there is nothing to lose. I'm not wasting money, and this is for educational purposes only. So what I'll be doing is desoldering the CPU with a heat gun. The heat gun I got is off Amazon. I paid around 40 something bucks for it. I'll be using it to work on the CPU, and I have a desoldering iron I got from AliExpress. I wasn't expecting it to be too good, but it actually is. It's really good. Um, that's what you saw in my last video. I was using that to put the new Hall effect sensor. So right now, I already applied the flux before I started the video. I applied the flux already. What I'll be doing is heating up the CPU evenly, and once I heat it up, all the solder balls underneath it will melt, and I should just be able to pull it off. Yeah, there gets the solder. This is the complete wrong way to do it, but there's nothing to lose. So, the reason why you don't want to do it like this is because it can cause the CPU to popcorn. Same thing with the GPU. It will popcorn if you heat it unevenly or if you don't heat it from the same side. So you have to be really gentle with these chips, and you have to have a special setup that heats it from both sides at a certain temperature. Okay, so you see the bubbling now. So once you start seeing the bubbling, you get ready with the little tweezers. Maybe I'll apply a little bit more. I got this big tube of solder from AliExpress. Got it for a pretty good deal. Once I apply the solder, the CPU will suck it underneath it. And once that happens, the chip should lift off the board. The reason why I would use solder in this application is because solder lowers the melting point of the balls underneath the CPU. If the melting point's too high, you'll cook the CPU and it'll popcorn. Basically, when it popcorns is whenever one of the layers, so let's say this layer, separates from one of the layers at the very bottom. And it looks like popcorn. We're getting there. I got a brand new toolkit. I was using a crappy Hypertough toolkit, but I finally balled out and got a iFixit toolkit, which they're a really good brand. You want to go in even, constant rotations around the CPU. This is a motherboard out of a Dell Latitude 11. This motherboard has been replaced out of one of those, and there is no way to fix it. It was a overheating problem and it killed the CPU, the GPU CPU combo. Most of these cheaper end CPUs are like combos, so you have the GPU and CPU and this little die. Nope, not moving yet. Right now, I'm using 376C. This is probably not the recommended temperature, but I don't care. Like I keep saying, I don't care about this board. It doesn't really mean much to me. This system that I replaced it out of got a new NVMe SSD instead of a old slow hard drive, and got a RAM upgrade. And this system, since this is taking a while, I might cut to whenever I get it heated up. Okay, the CPU is starting to loosen up on the board. So once it loosens up, it will pop right off. And once it comes off, I'll show you how they soldered the CPU onto the board. You see that orange stuff under there? That's the reason why I didn't want to come off, because I had it glued down. There was some, this is the reason why I said, do not do this way. Let me bring you down to zoom in level so you can see the damage. There we go. Let me turn off my external light. Turn down this one. So you see how you see all those fractures, that really big one right there, and all that. That's the reason why you don't do it like this, because it breaks the CPU. So it's all rough. Oh, yep, there you go. Piece just flew off. Oh yeah, and there's a look on the inside of a CPU. Let me zoom you in even further. And like right there. There you go. Now I gotta find the part. Oh yeah. There, that's a good look. Sorry about the shaking. Let me. So right there is the fracture. Oh, there we go. Come on, stop shaking. There you go. Okay, so right there is a fracture. Since I pried it unevenly off the board, you're supposed to use a certain tool, and the solder's supposed to get molten. But the problem with this CPU is they had it glued down. So there was basically no way to remove it if you even wanted to. Let me turn on my other light and you might be able to see the rainbow effect that the CPU's giving off. It's like a little zoom in even further. There we go. It's about as far as I can zoom in. Maybe I can get something off this. Oh, out there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you see all those individual little lines right there? Every single one of those lines is a trace inside of the CPU. Let me find that. To give you a size comparison, oh, there we go. That's capacitor on the CPU. That is probably about the same size as the tip of my tweezers. There's an edge, and here's the CPU. Let me drop it down. You can see every single scratch, and you can see a scratch there whenever I move it. A little scratch right there. And the seepage of the solder paste underneath this layer. And you see how fragile it is? I just poke it with my tweezers and it just scrapes. Look how much it just scrapes. The only thing that was protecting it is the little layer of stuff over it. But since that's broke off and cracked, now you can see everything. Ooh. Here's a good look into the board right there. You can see all the traces on the inside. Oh, sorry. Let me stop the shake. Hopefully I can get a better view on that. Let me try to zoom in. Oh yeah. Let me try to stabilize this. It is so micro right now. So pretty. And I'm trying to find the crack in the CPU die so you can see inside. Not the crack in the CPU die, the little traces underneath. Yeah, that's a good view. You can see every single individual trace heading up into the CPU. Isn't that cool? Oh, and then right there you can see all the little individual... Oh, I forgot this feature's on this thing. You can see every single bubble from whenever they casted the CPU die in there. It's like a resin right here. And then there's a little capacitor. And then here's the CPU. There's the crack. Trying to find the little, and you saw the little gap. You might just have to replay the video. I'll put a little picture of what it looked like in there if you missed it. Let me fix that and let me resume. Oh, what's wrong with it? Why is it all blurry? There we go. Okay. So we were zoomed in right here. You see all the different colors, and then there's a little crack inside of there. And then we zoomed in right there where the traces go into the board. And they're blue. Then here is the size of a capacitor compared to my little tweezers. These are needle nose tweezers. And then we have a little piece of it, if I can get it off the board, because it's pretty stuck on there. Oh, there we go. Here's a piece of it. So cool. And here is the back of it. The CPU is ruined and it will never be used again, but it has shown us some cool things about a CPU. Like, the reason why the CPU will never be used again is you see all these brown spots, brown, all brown. These are traces that have been ripped off. Like over here, that's all a trace that was on the main board. Then over here is all traces that were on this board. And all of this is just a circuit board. That is pretty cool. You can see the traces inside of the CPU. Sneak peek that you'll never see. You have the little pads that connect each pin from the board to the CPU, and they're little pads underneath the pins. Some of the pins on a CPU aren't used. In my opinion, this was a pretty cool demonstration of how to take a CPU off a motherboard, and I hope you enjoyed the content today. Have a great day.